Ladies and gentlemen, uh, every one of us will face moments in life where we feel weak, uncertain, or overwhelmed. The world can be unpredictable, and challenges will come whether we are ready or not. But there is one thing that can carry you through any hardship, one thing that can make you unstoppable, and that is inner strength. Inner strength isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. It's not given to you by others, it's forged through your choices, your discipline, and your mindset. The good news: no matter where you are in life right now, you can develop it. You can become stronger, more confident, and more resilient. Today, I want to share with you how you can build your own inner strength, not through luck or wishful thinking, but through real, actionable principles that will make you unshakable in the face of adversity. Let's begin. Take responsibility for your life. Inner strength begins with a fundamental decision to take full responsibility for your life. This is not just about acknowledging your successes, but also owning your failures, your mistakes, and the things that aren't going the way you want. Many people go through life believing that their struggles are entirely due to external forces, bad luck, unfair circumstances, or the actions of others. While it's true that life can be difficult and unpredictable, the mindset of blaming others weakens you. It puts control of your life into the hands of everything and everyone else. And the moment you give up control, you give up the ability to change. Taking responsibility does not mean that everything is your fault. It means that whatever happens, you decide what to do next. You may not be able to control the past, but you always have control over how you respond to it. If you lose your job, blaming the economy or your boss won't change anything. If your relationships aren't working out, blaming the other person won't make you happier. If your health is declining, waiting for someone else to fix it won't make you stronger. But when you say, "This is my life, and I am responsible for what happens next," you shift from being a victim to being the leader of your own story. When you take responsibility, you gain power, the power to change, to improve, and to grow. You start making intentional decisions instead of waiting for things to happen to you. You stop making excuses and start finding solutions. You begin to see obstacles not as punishments, but as challenges that you can overcome. And most importantly, you develop resilience because you know that no matter what happens, you have the ability to face it. This principle applies to every area of life. If you want to be physically strong, you must take responsibility for your health, your diet, and your exercise habits. If you want to be successful, you must take responsibility for your work ethic, your learning, and your discipline. If you want better relationships, you must take responsibility for how you communicate, how you treat others, and how you handle conflicts. The moment you embrace responsibility, you take the first step toward real strength. It's easy to blame. It's easy to complain. But neither of those things will make you stronger. Strength comes from standing up and saying, "This is my life and I will take control of it." The more responsibility you accept, the more capable you become. And the more capable you become, the stronger you will be, not just today, but for the rest of your life. Face your fears voluntarily. Fear is a powerful force. It can paralyze you, keeping you stuck in the same place for years, or it can be the very thing that helps you grow stronger. The difference lies in how you choose to face it. If you run from fear, it grows bigger. If you confront it, you grow bigger. Building inner strength requires that you willingly step toward what you fear, rather than avoiding it. Many people believe that courage means the absence of fear, but that's not true. Courage is feeling fear and acting anyway. Think about it: if something doesn't scare you, there's no need for bravery. But when you deliberately face your fears, even in small ways, you develop resilience. Each time you do something difficult, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Over time, the things that once terrified you start to lose their power. Consider a simple example: public speaking. Many people fear standing in front of an audience. If you avoid it completely, the fear doesn't disappear, it strengthens. But if you start small, maybe by speaking in front of a few friends, then in a meeting, and then in larger groups, you slowly take control. What once seemed terrifying becomes manageable. This same principle applies to everything in life, whether it's facing social anxiety, taking risks in your career, or dealing with personal hardships. One of the most effective ways to face your fears is to confront them voluntarily. This means you choose to step toward what makes you uncomfortable. instead of being forced into it by circumstances. When you voluntarily take on challenges, you rewire your brain to see yourself as someone who can handle difficult things. Instead of seeing fear as a stop sign, you start seeing it as a doorway to growth. Imagine two versions of yourself, one who avoids discomfort and one who faces it head on. The first person stays the same, constantly held back by fear. The second person, even though they struggle, becomes stronger, wiser, and more confident with each step forward. Which version do you want to be? Facing fear doesn't mean jumping into extreme situations without preparation. It means taking small, intentional steps outside your comfort zone. If you're afraid of social interactions, start a conversation with one person. If you fear failure, take a small risk and learn from it. Each time you do, you build the psychological muscle of resilience. Strength is not built in comfort, it is built in challenge. And fear is the perfect training ground. The more you face, the more you grow. The more you grow, the stronger you become. So ask yourself, what is one fear you can confront today? Take that step, no matter how small, and you'll be on your way to building true inner strength. Tell the truth and live with integrity. Inner strength is not just about facing challenges, it's about how you navigate them. One of the most powerful ways to build unshakable strength is to commit to truthfulness and integrity in everything you do. When you tell the truth, you align yourself with reality. When you live with integrity, you build a foundation that cannot be broken. Lying, whether to yourself or others, weakens you. It creates confusion, leads to self-doubt, and distances you from the reality you need to understand in order to grow. Small lies might seem harmless, but over time they accumulate, creating a false version of yourself that you can't rely on. If you constantly distort the truth to make yourself look better, avoid discomfort, or escape responsibility, you weaken your ability to face reality head on. And when you can't trust yourself, how can you expect to be strong? Living with integrity means that your actions align with your values. It means standing by your principles even when it's inconvenient or difficult. Many people compromise their values for comfort, approval, or short-term gain. But every time you betray what you truly believe in, you lose a piece of your inner strength. On the other hand, every time you stand firm in truth, whether in a conversation, a decision, or a challenge, you reinforce your character. There's another reason truth and integrity make you stronger. They remove unnecessary chaos from your life. Deception, whether big or small, creates complexity. You have to remember your lies, cover your tracks, and constantly manage the fear of being exposed. This drains your energy and makes you vulnerable, but when you commit to truth, your mind is clear. You don't have to juggle conflicting narratives. You stand firm, knowing that you are grounded in honesty. This does not mean you need to be harsh or unkind. Telling the truth does not mean being reckless with your words. It means being courageous enough to say what is necessary, even when it's hard. It means admitting when you're wrong, even when it hurts your ego. It means refusing to compromise your integrity, even when no one is watching. Think of the people you admire most, whether they are leaders, mentors, or personal role models. Chances are they are people who live with integrity, people who do what is right even when it's difficult. These are the individuals who can be relied upon, who have real inner strength. So if you want to build unshakable confidence and resilience, start with the truth. Speak honestly. Act with integrity. Make sure your words and actions reflect who you truly are. Over time, you will notice something incredible. People will trust you more. You will trust yourself more. And you will walk through life with a strength that cannot be broken. Embrace meaning over comfort. One of the greatest obstacles to building inner strength is the temptation to choose comfort over meaning. Modern life is filled with distractions designed to keep us entertained, comfortable, and free from hardship. But true strength is not developed in ease. It is developed through the pursuit of something meaningful, something that challenges you to grow beyond your limitations. Many people fall into the trap of chasing short-term pleasure instead of long-term fulfillment. It's easier to scroll through social media than to read a book. It's easier to binge-watch TV than to work toward a difficult goal. It's easier to avoid responsibilities than to take on challenges. But the more you prioritize comfort over meaning, the weaker you become. A comfortable life may seem appealing, but it often leads to stagnation, regret, and a lack of purpose. Meaning, on the other hand, gives you direction. It gives you a reason to endure difficulties and a purpose that makes suffering worthwhile. Imagine two people facing a long, exhausting climb up a mountain. One has no idea why they are climbing and sees only the pain of the journey. The other knows that at the top there is a breathtaking view, a sense of accomplishment, and a goal worth achieving. Who do you think will have the strength to push forward? The one who sees meaning in the struggle. Finding meaning does not mean life will be easy, it means life will be worth it. Strength comes from choosing what is significant over what is simple, what is fulfilling over what is fleeting. This applies to every area of life. In relationships, it is easy to walk away when things get hard, but real strength comes from committing to growth, communication, and deep connection. In career and education, it is easy to settle for mediocrity, but real strength comes from pushing yourself to learn, improve, and create something valuable. In personal development, it is easy to avoid difficult truths, but real strength comes from confronting your weaknesses and working to overcome them. So, how do you begin prioritizing meaning over comfort? Start by asking yourself a simple but powerful question: what truly matters to me? Not what is easiest, not what is immediately rewarding, but what will make my life meaningful in the long run. Once you identify what matters, commit to it even when it's difficult, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you feel like giving up. Choosing meaning over comfort is not about rejecting all pleasure or joy. It's about understanding that real fulfillment comes from struggle, discipline, and perseverance. The strongest people in the world are not those who avoid hardship, but those who find meaning in it. So instead of asking, what will make me happy right now? Start asking, what will make me stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled in the long run? Your ability to endure, to grow, and to build true inner strength depends on your ability to choose meaning over comfort. And the more you practice this, the more unstoppable you will become. Organize yourself before criticizing the world. One of the most common traps people fall into is blaming external forces for their problems. It's easy to point fingers at society, at the government, at your family, or at people who seem to have more opportunities than you. It's easy to believe that the world needs to change before your life can improve. But here's the truth: if you want to build real inner strength, you must first put your own life in order before trying to fix the world around you. This does not mean ignoring injustice or pretending that external problems don't exist. Of course, there are unfair systems, difficult circumstances, and challenges that are outside your control. But the most effective way to create positive change both in your life and in the world is to start with yourself. Before trying to reform society, before demanding change from others, ask yourself, have I done everything I can to improve my own situation? Am I as disciplined, responsible, and competent as I could be? Think of it this way: if your personal life is in chaos, if your habits are destructive, if your relationships are dysfunctional, if your goals are unclear, then how can you expect to contribute meaningfully to larger problems? Strength comes from self-mastery, from proving that you can handle your own challenges before taking on the challenges of the world. Start with small but meaningful steps. If your physical health is suffering, establish a routine that improves it. If your finances are a mess, create a plan to organize them. If your relationships are full of conflict, take responsibility for your role in them and work to improve communication. If your daily life is disorganized, start by cleaning your room, organizing your schedule, and eliminating distractions. These small actions may seem insignificant, but they are the foundation of discipline and strength. There's a reason that some of the greatest leaders, thinkers, and change makers throughout history have emphasized self-discipline. A person who has control over their own life, who can manage their time, emotions, and responsibilities effectively, is far more capable of helping others than someone who is lost in their own chaos. Imagine two individuals. One constantly complains about the state of the world but takes no meaningful action in their own life. The other works tirelessly to improve themselves, gaining skills, knowledge, and discipline. When the time comes for real change, which of these two people will actually make a difference? The one who is prepared, the one who has built their own strength first. This principle doesn't mean you must be perfect before trying to help others. No one is perfect. But it does mean that the stronger and more disciplined you become, the more effective your actions will be. If you want to make the world better, start by making yourself better. If you want to lead, first prove that you can lead yourself. If you want to see more strength, honesty, and discipline in society, embody those qualities yourself. Inner strength begins with self-improvement. When you organize your life, take responsibility for your actions, and work toward becoming the best version of yourself, you don't just improve your own situation, you become a force of stability and inspiration for those around you. And in doing so, you create real, lasting change.